Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Siouxland Senior Planning Radio Show. Today we're going to answer the question, should I buy my parents' home if they are in a nursing home? And we're going to talk about a couple of different scenarios where this question might come up. First, let's talk about when both of your parents are in the nursing home. This might also apply if you have one parent who has passed away and your living parent is in the nursing home. First off, I'm going to suggest that you should not purchase their home if that will require you to take out a loan yourself. In a high interest rate environment like the environment we're in, that can be a dicey proposition to start with. Plus, there's always the challenge of what do I do if I can't cash flow the payments anymore? Is it possible that I might lose that home to a foreclosure? And so we don't want to borrow to purchase a parent's home just so that they can have some cash flow. Instead, if you could pay cash, you should try that. If that's a viable option for you, then we should certainly pursue that. Otherwise, I would suggest that you consider looking into Medicaid or Title 19. Medicaid is the state program that pays for long-term care. The money comes from both the federal government and the state. And there are rules about how the applicant has to handle a house once they go to a nursing home. In some cases, the house might fall under an exemption. In other cases, you may be able to transfer the house to one of the children, so you or your siblings may be eligible recipients for that home in an exempt transfer in certain scenarios. And then even if the house is not exempt, remember that if you sell it, those proceeds aren't going to be exempt either, so you'll then have to do a spend down. If you're looking into that as a possibility, you should probably work with an experienced elder law attorney to sort out the details of that spend down or to determine whether or not the home is exempt or will continue to be exempt after your parents go to the nursing home. Second, let's talk about when both your parents are still living, but one of them is in need of nursing home care and the other is not. To simplify our conversation, we're going to call this nursing home spouse the sick spouse, and we'll call the spouse at home the healthy spouse. And of course, that is an oversimplification. That doesn't mean that they're sick or not sick. It just makes it easier for us to talk about how the rules apply to them. In this scenario, all the same suggestions apply. Probably don't look into taking a loan out unless you're certain you can cash flow it. And unless it's absolutely necessary because of a spend down requirement where you need the cash instead of a physical asset. But in that situation where both parents are still living and we have one in the nursing home and one who isn't, Medicaid may be even more attractive for paying for the long-term care. In this situation, the house will be exempt as long as one spouse continues to live there. And that exemption buys time to sell it. So what that means is you don't have to then put yourself out there as the bank, so to speak, to purchase that house yourself using cash or even to take out a loan yourself. You can wait and find the right buyer at the right time because the house stays exempt as long as one spouse still lives there. If Medicaid is available for the sick spouse, you can put the house solely in the healthy spouse's name too. What that will do is it will make it so that when you sell the house, the proceeds from that sale belong to the healthy spouse. And because the healthy spouse is not on Medicaid, after the sick spouse receives the Medicaid eligibility decision, the funds from that sale are not considered available to the sick spouse. And so the healthy spouse will not be required to complete a spend down in that case. There again, always a good idea to talk to an experienced elder law attorney before you start digging into implementing any kind of strategies here. And this all raises one last question, which is, well, what if I just take the house? What if they give it to me now, even though they don't need nursing home care maybe? And can I just own their house for them and let them live there? And the answer is, of course, you can do that. But my suggestion to you is that owning your parents' house while they're still living there is going to have a number of unforeseen circumstances or unforeseen consequences maybe. What happens if you die? What happens if you have a medical crisis or get sued by someone? What if you get divorced? These are all very real issues that can affect your ability to let your parents continue to live in that home. And we'll make sure to come back and talk about those in a future episode.